about specific issues, party system and actors to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we'll look at these stories. First, Rivers State. Fubara swears in new local government chairman. And on Anambra State, Soludo committed to local government autonomy. APGA replies Labour Party. And on to Ondoguba, APC youth rally support for Ayaditiwa. And on Benue State, Moro reacts as APC wins all 23 local government areas. On Labour Party accepts Kwankwaso's offer to deputize Obi. On local government autonomy, withhold funds to states failing to conduct credible polls, Serap says to local government. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go.
I've always said there are two sets of people.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To conduct this act, appropriate to get the lead of this minister and the government. Give us access to our money in the account. I've always said there are two sets of people. The oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I am.
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are? oppressed and my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence. To condemn this act, I thought that difficult to lead of this minister and the
Give us access to our money we
As always said, there are two.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Ndamzi Ekulo, ESQ. Ndamzi Ekulo is a lawyer and a conflict resolution expert. Good morning, Ndamzi, and welcome to Open Conversation.
Good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. Rivers State Governor Similaye Fubara has sworn in the newly elected chairman of the 23 local government areas following their victories in Saturday's local government council elections. The swearing-in ceremony held on Sunday at the Executive Council Chambers, Government House, Port Harcourt, saw 22 chairmen from the Action People's Party and one from the Action Alliance officially inaugurated into office. Governor Fubara, while addressing the newly sworn-in chairmen, congratulated them on their electoral victories. The ceremony was graced by notable dignitaries, including the chairman of the People's Democratic Party Governors Forum, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, who was in attendance to lend his support. Each chairman was accompanied by a guest, as stipulated by the state government, and they are now expected to immediately assume their duties. Ndamzi, what do you have to say to this story?
Yes, the Constitution in Section 7 guarantees a democratically elected local government system. And it went ahead in Section 8 to give powers of control, financing, administration, and all that to the states. That is to say, the states determine what happens in the local government, time for election, who gets what at the various LGAs. And it is simply a power guaranteed by the Constitution for the governors. So nobody can strip the governors, not even the courts, can strip the governors of any state the powers as enshrined in Section 8 of the Constitution. But the bigger question is, before the election was conducted, were there pre-election disputes? And the answer is yes. There were disputes before this election was conducted, and in some quarters, so many persons have argued that the Federal High Court doesn't have jurisdiction to entertain the matter and all that. And in my view, I see it as laughable, because if we look at the Section 251 of the Constitution, it clearly defines and states the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. And in that regard, federal agencies were involved. Federal agencies were among the dramatis personae in that matter. That was the reason Federal High Court had jurisdiction to hear that matter. That's on one part. Then, the governor swearing in the 23 elected local government chairmen, like I said before, under Section 8, the law guarantees and empowers the governors to determine what happens in the various AGAs. Now the elections have come and gone. I think it is the decision of the governor. It is in his opinion on when to swear them in. And I think he has done that. Let us be patient and watch what happens in superior courts.
Okay, what do you think, in light of there are concerns around the credibility of Rivers State local government elections, starting from the activities of the RISEC to the authenticity of candidates, particularly the APP. You would agree with me that the candidacy of this chairman under APP is also a matter before the courts. Bomahat has gone to court to get ex parte order. One of the prayers when he went to court, one of his prayers was that he be reinstated as the chairman of APP, he is saying that he's the authentic chairman of the APP. That's on one hand. And then on the second part, he was also questioning the authenticity of the 23 local government chairmanship candidates under the APP party. And he was also saying that and according to him, he is of the opinion that they are not authentic. At what point did they defect to APP? Do you understand? At what point did they defect to APP in line with RISIEC timetable of primaries and publishing of candidates and all of that? So these are issues. So even apart from the APC litigation, APP itself has internal crisis right now. So how do you see all these things playing out?
Thank you very much, Laurentia. You see, credibility, it's something that is very far when you talk of local government elections in Nigeria, because the governor determines who heads the commission. The governor appoints the board and members of the CX in various states. So he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Okay? There is no way anyone will think that a local government election, let's look at the national election itself, credibility is lacking or had been lacking. Then you now tailor it down to local government elections. So anyone talking about credibility in local government election is just, wasting him or her time. Because if you look at section 81, sub 3 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, INEC itself derived its funding from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. But in the case of the state, the CX, they don't derive its fund.
It comes from the state.
Yes, and that is guaranteed under section 122, sub 3 of the Constitution. So you see, funds that comes directly from the governor to a SEC board he or she appointed, who do you think the SEC and the board will work for? They will do his bidding. So then that is on one part. Then on the pre-election matters, reconciling what the APC is alleging and what APP itself is alleging, that they had internal crisis. Bomahat claiming to be the chairman, and all of a sudden someone else became the chairman, and we see names flying everywhere, from the various LGAs. That is also questionable. But at this point, the election has come and gone. That will become a post-election concern, which the tribunal...
So are you saying the pre-election matter will now turn into a post-election matter?
No. The pre-election matter remains what it is. And it is right that every matter that is pre-election matter ends in the Supreme Court. Yes, of course. Here in Rivers State, we have had that before during the time of CRA, Rotimi Amechi, and we all knew what happened at last. The chairman never enjoyed their tenure. So if the matter gets to the highest court of the land and the court vests it looking at the provisions of the law that the election did not meet standards as required by the law, then it will happen otherwise.
Interesting times ahead of Rivers State. Federal lawmakers elected on the Progressive Grand Alliance platform has commended Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Soludo for his commitment to the financial and administrative autonomy of local government councils. They described as misleading the claims by Labour Party lawmakers that Governor Soludo was making moves to strip the 21 local government areas in Anambra State of autonomy via an executive bill now before the State House of Assembly for consideration. Recall that last week, the Labour Party National Assembly caucus, led by Senator Anthony Nwoye, accused Soludo of a ploy to enact the state and local government joint account law, describing it as a circumvention of the Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy to the third tier of government. In a communique read after a meeting of APGA lawmakers on Saturday evening, the caucus called on their Labour Party counterparts to join hands with Governor Soludo in moving Anambra State forward. The leader of the APGA caucus in the House of Representatives, Pascal Abodike, who read the communique, said that the proposed Anambra State Local Government Administration Law 2024 has been misinterpreted as an attempt to undermine local government autonomy. Describing the allegations against Governor Soludo as baseless and misguided, Abodike, who represents Ihiala Federal Constituency, noted that the nation's extant laws empower states to regulate grassroots administration, while urging the Labour Party National Assembly caucus to cease their cheap political theatrics and recognize the importance of collaborative governance for Anambra State's progress. The APGA lawmaker stated that when signed into law, the bill will change the face of governance in the southeastern states. The Anambra State Local Government Administration Law 2024 aims to enhance collaborative development efforts between the states and local governments. It will ensure joint initiatives, including provisions for the payment of gratuities, pensions and salaries for primary school teachers. It aims to provide counterpart funding for universal basic education projects and establish necessary oversight from the State House of Assembly to ensure accountability and proper governance, the communique further read. The APGA lawmakers also called on their Labour Party counterparts not to forget that the proposed law provides a robust legal framework for joint expenditures between state and local governments and aligns with the Supreme Court's July 11, 2024 ruling on financial autonomy, among others. Damzi, what do you have to say to these developments?
Yes, on one hand, we saw the LP caucus mentioning local government and state joint account. On the other hand, the APGA caucus is stating that it is a local government and state administrative law. So you see, these are two different positions here that the people involved have taken. But if I will lend a voice, considering the July 11, 2024 judgment of the Supreme Court, any state governor or House of Assembly who intends to form or to raise a bill for the making of a law tagged local government and states joint account, that act remains unlawful. But if it is a law to come up with like, you know, what they said, that it is local government and state administrative.
They said joint expenditure.
No, anything that has to do with joint expenditure at this point is unlawful and it is illegal.
The APGA lawmakers also called on their Labour Party counterparts not to forget that the proposed law provides a robust legal framework for joint expenditures between state and local governments and aligns with the Supreme Court's July 11, 2024 ruling on financial autonomy. How does it align?
Yeah, that doesn't align, but where institutions are properly strengthened, the local government and state can have an understanding. They can come up with a policy to say, okay, on UBE, you fund 50% and we are funding so amount. On agriculture, state, you can come in on so percentage, but anything that has to do with joint account in respect to funding of the LGA or funds regarding the LGA, it's unlawful. So I think the Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo should take his time to educate Anambrians on the title and heading of this bill and also what the bill intends to achieve when it becomes law.
What the bill tends to achieve has been stated clearly. It says let me start from what they said. He said that the Anambra State Local Government Administration Law 2024 aims to enhance collaborative development efforts between state and local governments. It will ensure joint initiatives, including provision for payment of gratuities, pensions, and salaries for primary school teachers. It aims to provide counterpart funding for universal basic education projects and establish necessary oversight function from State House of Assembly to ensure accountability and proper governance. Then the owner finally said it provides a robust legal framework for joint expenditures between state and local government and aligns with the Supreme Court's July 11, 2024. Now, from what they have explained so far, everything has to be joint. Now, if this law is targeted at joint expenditure, joint initiative, that's also joint income. It means that the state will also supervise the income, the funding, the allocation of the local government chairman. This won't one say that this is a, if I may borrow that word, it's not even in English, but I love using it because it drives home the point, Nicodemusly, trying to still have power and influence over allocations to local government. The role of the local government is clear in the Constitution. The role of the state government is clear in the Constitution. I mean, there are two parallel lines. Yes. So the local government can, the state government can actually choose to have their own initiatives, you know, perform their own initiatives. And the local government have their responsibilities, their initiatives, their salary scale. Clearly in the Constitution, they even have people that they pay. Local government civil servants, the local government takes care of them. So now the state houses of assembly, of course, can have oversight function on the expenditures because the state even makes laws for the local government. However, the state coming to say that they are having joint initiatives, joint projects. What's that? Joint expenditure. At the end of the day, it boils down to having joint accounts. Is Soludo trying to go through the State House of Assembly to still implement that jack when the Supreme Court ruling has clearly put that to an end?
Yes. You see, governors are not happy with that July 11, 2024 judgment because they see the local government as a cash cow, you know, a means of cashing out. They receive whatever they get from FAC and remit whatever they like to the LGAs. So Soludo attempting this with this law, I think, is suspicious. The assembly shouldn't, you know, pass that bill into law because in doing so, they are indirectly arming the state government again against the funds of the LGA. If the assembly is in bed with the governor, what makes you think that law won't pass? If the assembly is in bed with the governor, then it will pass, and it becomes a very difficult one for the Anambarians because I see that as a ploy for Soludo trying to still have control over the local government funds.
Yes, as it were. And now that brings me to a lot of issues surrounding this local government autonomy. If elections are actually credible and free and fair and not a selection or an imposition of candidates by governors, you see, this is a situation where local government chairmen will fight the law, will take up this matter and go to court. But now it becomes difficult, you know, when these people, the local government chairmen, are minions of the governor. They are mere appendages of the governor. They cannot fight this. They will even be grateful that they have some funds to work with, right? So now, how do you even see this play if this passes into law, do you see any resistance from local government chairmen? Because apparently, to all intents and purposes, when you read, no matter how beautifully coined, this whole thing is still pointing to Jack. Do you see local government chairmen fighting this law? Fighting this bill if it actually becomes a law?
I don't see the local government chairman in Anambra fighting this because they were selected. And those selected must do the bidding of the governor. Okay, see, Laurentia.
At the end of the day, is democracy not defeated?
Yes, Laurentia, see, it is my view, it is my view that the National Assembly have a lot to do in this ongoing constitutional review process. The National Assembly really have a lot to do. Now, okay, let's look at post-election matters after the local government election. It ends in the State's High Court. So, how do we think such election will be credible and such litigations will be credible?
And the aggrieved party will get justice.
You can't get
because
justice
everything is still under the influence of the states.
So the National Assembly, if truly Nigeria is going to have a pure democratically system of local government in Nigeria, then we should be ready to allow it flow independently. The jurisdiction of the courts handling local government issues should be stripped from the state high courts.
Should move to where? Federal?
It should be to the federal high courts. Because if there is a dispute arising after an election, it ends in the high court. What do you make of it? The states will have control of it, whether we like it or not, whether anybody wants to hear the truth or not. The state governors are controlling the high courts in every state. It is just what it is. They nominate to NJC of who becomes judges. If you don't have solid contacts, you can't be a judge. So what are we talking about? See, it's high time we tell ourselves the truth in this country. There is no way the local governments in Nigeria will function even with the financial autonomy granted by the Supreme Court. This is a legislative concern and not a judicial concern. At this point, the federal government has, come up with a policy that if you're not democratically elected in your states, they are not releasing the funds. Fine, that's a good step. And you can see how all the states who never wanted to conduct local government elections, all of them are in a hurry to conduct because they have interest in the huge allocation coming. It's high time the governors should be legislatively stripped of control and powers of the local government. That is the only time we will see. And
probably organizing elections for local government should be the purview of the governors.
Everything about the local government should be stripped from the state government. The LGA, the various local government yes, they have their own legislative houses, but they are not powerful.
The councillors.
The councillors.
I was actually coming to that point as well.
The National Assembly should help us review the Constitution in such a way that they will make the legislative functions and powers of the councillors very powerful.
I wanted to ask you a question. How come councillors are, first of all, are councillors empowered to impeach a local government chairman?
Yes, they are empowered to impeach a local government chairman, but going by the purview of the Constitution, as in Section 8, you will see that everything boils down to ratification of the State's House of Assembly. So that is to say, if the councillors are plotting to impeach a local government chairman, if that local government chairman is in the good book of the governor, such impeachment won't fly.
Because the State House of Assembly will not ratify it.
They will not ratify it. So the National Assembly really need to help this country. Not just sitting there sharing a constituency project share whatever, they tag all kind of names, wardrobe allowance. That's not what we sent them there to do. Nigerians elected them into that house for issues like this. Because one, the framers of the 1999 Constitution do not forget that the military handed over this incomplete document to the democratic regime of 1999. And the National Assembly then didn't do much. They were busy sharing. Subsequent one came, they have been busy sharing. We still have a defective working document. It's high time Nigerians will look at ourselves face to face, truthfully, and do the right thing. We need to resolve these local government issues that have ravaged the funding in the local government, that have taken away development in the local government. Agriculture is discouraged in the local governments. What I mean is just crazy. I remember when I was a little boy, the local government administration then used to construct roads. Even then with mega allocation. But today, when they receive robust allocation, you can't find a local government chairman constructing road. I gave kudos to a local government chairman. I can't really remember his name some days ago. You know, he completed a major estate project in Lagos, gigantic project. I don't think any local government chairman in Nigeria has achieved that great feat. So these are signs that the funding in the local government have improved. And the local people also need to be informed that these funds belong to them. Not the chairman, not the caretaker chairman, just like, you know, the example of what they have done in Rivers State. You see the governor gave caretaker chairman billions of naira. And these guys are busy junketing about buying houses in Lagos, some buying cars for their girlfriends, and all that. I mean, this money belongs to the local people. It's high time the people became aware. It's high time the people rose up and asked for what belonged to them. All right. Otherwise, we won't see development in the local government. All
right. Youths of the All Progressive Congress in Ondo State have reiterated their desire to mobilize for the victory of Governor Lucky Ayadetiwa, the party's candidate in the November 16 governorship election. The APC youth leader in the state, Mr. Olalekon Adeyemo, stated this in a statement made available to newsmen on Sunday in Akure. Adeyemo described Ayadetiwa as a youth-friendly leader who has consistently demonstrated commitment to empowering youths in the state. He said that in the little time the governor has been at the helm of affairs of the state, he had touched vital areas, especially things that would improve lives of the youths. The APC youth leader listed some of the remarkable achievements of the governor, including disbursement of 373 million naira in bursaries to 5,928 tertiary institution students through the Ondo Oil Producing Areas Development Commission, or SOPADEC. Payment of 708 million naira in West African Examination Council's fees for 2023-2024 students in public secondary schools, and payment of 335 million naira in scholarships and bursaries to students of Ondo State origin, among others. He said Ayadetiwa had also improved the party members' reward system by engaging more youths in various positions. Damzi, what do you have to say to this?
Well, I have to say kudos to Governor Ayadetiwa for, you know, achieving such a great feat. You see, governance is all about the people. Any government that is not aimed towards improving the lives and livelihood of the people, it's anti-government. Okay, so for the people, for the youths in his party coming up to, you know, give him such a robust support, it means he has actually touched the lives of people. And look at the area, the specific, I am very particular about the scholarship, the bursaries, and other areas mentioned, you see, those are areas that truly touches the lives of the common man. So for the governor to, you know, having achieved this within a few period, it's remarkable, it's commendable. We give kudos to him. We pray and believe that he wins the election so that Ondo people will,
well, I heard that why is of the APC. Would you expect that APC youths will tow a different path, considering that the governor is the leader of the party in the state?
Well, I wouldn't expect that the APC youths will tow a different path.
So, and don't you think this is a political statement?
Yeah, but in my own opinion, firstly as a Nigerian and as somebody who means well for this country, I am one man who doesn't believe a particular party should occupy position of trust in Nigeria. We want anybody who can perform, anybody who can take Nigeria out of the woods is welcomed. No matter the state, the LGA, we want those in the LGAs to bring governance closer to the people. We want the state governors, irrespective of party divide. What matters is good living, good life for the people, provision of basic amenities, and all that.
All right. And on to Benue State. Senate Minority Leader Comrade Abba Moro has rejected the local government election conducted in Benue State on Saturday, 5th October, describing it as a sham and an insult to democracy. ATN earlier reported that Benue State Independent Electoral Commission on Sunday declared the All Progressive Congress winner of all the 23 local government areas. Reacting, Moro, the senator representing Benue South Senatorial District, said in a statement by his media aide, Emmanuel Eche Ofun John, that reports from polling units across his senatorial district indicate that elections did not hold. According to him, election materials and officials of the BCEC were not seen anywhere except in the premises of APC leaders where ballots were thumb-printed for their candidates. The senator expressed disappointment in the state governor Hyacinth Alia for not standing by the truth and due process as promised during his electioneering campaign. Moro said he expected the governor, as a priest, to push for a paradigm shift by doing what's right and not referencing and copying what was wrongly done in the past. He said democracy was fiercely fought for, with some people paying the supreme price, stating that anti-democratic forces will not be allowed to destroy the system. What do you have to say to this story? And APC sweeping the entire local government seats, and Abba Moro's reaction, considering the fact that, I mean, in this season of local government elections, it appears that ruling parties of the state have been sweeping entire local government seats. So, what do you have to say? Though, with granted, with Benue State's local government elections, the expectations were different. The expectations were higher because, I mean, that's a priest.
Well, the fact that the man is a priest doesn't rule out the fact that the Constitution in Section 8 gave the states powers to do all this. You see, nothing will change. Even though you bring in a bishop, okay, to head a state, and that bishop is you know, superintending the conduct of local government elections in the state. Believe me, institutions are already broken down in Nigeria. So it is not about who or the position of the person. There are institutional breakdown in the country. So anybody who comes in to that institution, the broken pieces and all the endemic corruption around will subsume the person. Unless the National Assembly, I say it emphatically, categorically, without apology to them, that they have a lot of work to do. They have abdicated their role. they have gone there to play party politics, forgetting what Nigerians sent them there to do. These guys should look inwards and fix our constitution so that moving forward in the country, we won't be having this back and forth. Senator Abamoro shouldn't expect less. The Section 8 is still what it is. The Section 1223 of the Constitution is still there, which empower the state governors, state governments to fund the various sects. So nothing different will happen. Even the ones not conducted, Nigerians are not expecting that a governor of a seat will be there and an opposing political party will come and sweep up. In the meantime, local government election, we don't see it happen. Like what happened here in Rivers State a few days ago was just a jamboree.
In your opinion?
Oh my God! In my LG, I can't find anyone queuing up anywhere. I didn't even cite.
What's your LG?
Equal local government, of course. We only had 1 or 2 units in my ward, were 13 in Equal local government, where the caretaker chairman came and, you know, made presence and walked away. Those are the 2 places in his unit and somewhere we call Omuhechi, where the councillorship candidate came. Aside from these 2 units, I vote in Unit 14 in my ward. We never saw any presence of RESEC members, staffs and all that. So
that's the same thing that is playing out in Benue State that Abamoro is talking about.
Thing. See, Laurentia, there can never be credible election when it comes to local government.
All right.
So nobody should deceive anybody.
All right. We'll still come back to local government, but then let's look at Labour Party. Labour Party on Sunday welcomed the offer by the new Nigeria's People's Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, to be running mate to Labour Party's Peter Obi in the 2027 presidential election. Kwankwaso, in a recent viral post, indicated his willingness to serve as running mate to the former Labour Party presidential flag bearer, barely 2 years after talks between both parties went south. It has been reported that the Labour Party and the NMPP had considered a merger ahead of the 2023 general elections, but the inability of either Obi or Kwankwaso to concede the leadership collapsed the heightened move. The former governor of Kano State, who spoke in Hausa, expressed his readiness via a circulated video on his official account, provided certain conditions are met. Kwankwaso, who acknowledged his rising political profile, stated, "I am bigger than Peter Obi politically. I'm his elder brother. I'm a PhD holder. I performed better than him when I was the governor of my state. I have no problem with deputizing for Peter Obi, but only if certain conditions are met." He further expressed the possibility of engaging in meaningful discussions with Obi, noting, "We are willing to engage in discussions provided that trust is established." In the last elections, Peter Obi of the Labour Party emerged 3rd position, securing approximately 6,101,000 votes, 553 votes, while Kwankwaso garnered 1,496,687 votes to emerge a distant 4th position. Reacting in an exclusive interview, the National Secretary of Labour Party, Omar Farouk, told press that the renewed move by Kwankwaso was a welcome development. He also appealed to the former Kano governor not to kill the merger talk again with his insinuation of being a better politician and holding a higher education degree. He said, "As a political party, we stand for good governance, and we have equally given all our candidates, both former and serving ones, the opportunity to choose how to associate with people of like minds who share the philosophy and ideology of the Labour Party. We are happy Kwankwaso has alighted from the high horse he was riding and willing to offer himself to Obi as deputy, having seen he garnered more than 6 million votes at the 2023 election. With his so-called popularity in the north, Kwankwaso could only amass less than 2 million votes. Again, he should stop this talk of being a bigger politician and PhD holder. What did he even do as a Minister of Defense? This is why we advise politicians to always consider the dynamics of politics to gauge the temperament of the electorate at a particular time. Of course, we know what played out in 2023 will be different from 2027. It will be in the interest of Nigerians if Obi and Kwankwaso are willing to come together and wrest power from the APC government. But again, we know that the sitting government will not go to sleep and allow the renewed move to work. What do you have to say to this story, Ndamze?
It is an interesting story, considering how the major talk collapsed
last time.
The last time. Kwankwaso, like Farouk said, climbing down from his high horse to accept to deputize Obi is a welcome one, but my view is that with all that happening, nothing will still change in 2027 unless, I keep saying it, institutions are broken down. There is high-level corruption in the judiciary. The electoral umpire is not independent. They still have the control of the presidency. The electoral laws are still what it is. And the section of the Constitution that mandates INEC to either transmit or to declare manually, it's still there. So unless all these issues are resolved ahead of time, then Nigerians can say the merger between Obi and Kwankwaso will produce results. Otherwise, they will still end up as dramatis personae, contesting election, post-election matter happening, went to court. Some may even go ahead in getting documents from outside jurisdiction and all that. Tendering the documents become a problem. So you see, Laurentia, our country is really dying by the day, and it is no longer funny. It is no longer funny what is happening. No sector is working well. The corruption is becoming so endemic. People are not even trusting the electoral processes anymore. Look at Edo election. Edo election is a case study that, in my opinion, there were voter apathy in Edo because if you look at the voting strength of Edo State and the strength of results we saw, that shows that over 60-something% of Edo citizens didn't participate in that election. So the electoral processes is so bad, so corrupt, and the government should stop using inept people. People who do not have capacity to man some of these things are in the helm of affairs. So it's high time Nigeria, beginning with the National Assembly, we rejig the institutions. We look at people manning these institutions. Are they truly credible Nigerians who want a better society? Or these are people who just want to amass wealth for themselves and their generations yet unborn? So these are pertinent questions that before we make judgment, before we hail the merger, we should be able to say what are the roles they are playing to make sure that these institutions are strengthened. The Independent National Electoral Commission, is the commission truly independent? It's high time they strip politicians powers to appoint people who are not even qualified to man the various resident electoral commissioners. I mean, it's crazy what happens in our country. We pray for Nigeria every day, just like in my church, we prayed for Nigeria yesterday.
Interesting. But there is still building on the, talking about the Kwankwaso Obi prospective merger. Now Obi Kwankwaso prides himself as being in control of NNPP, particularly in Kano State. And, you know, Kano State has the highest voter strength in Nigeria because of their population. But in recent times, you know, NNPP has suffered severe defection of its members to APC. I mean, when you look at different defections at different times recently, close to 1 million members have defected. That's a huge blow to NNPP. So is it safe to say that in Kano State right now, NNPP's popularity is fast dwindling to the favor of the APC in Kano State? And in light of these developments, can Kwankwaso say by 2027 he will still have the same level of influence he had in Kano State? Will he be able to get up to 1 million votes, considering what is going on right now in Kano State?
Yes, Orisha, I can tell you vividly, during my law school days, I was in Kano, and the local government Kwankwaso hails from was the local government the law school is cited. Bagauda. Bagauda is in a local government they call Bebeji in Kano. And this is the same local government that Dangote hails from. And it is same local government that the former deputy governor hails from. So that local government is so populated. They have powerful men in Kano. And I can assure you that the Kwankwasia movement is not just a joke in Kano. It is truly a movement. Okay. A movement. It's the Kwankwasia movement in Kano. When I was in Kano, I saw it as a movement that cut across all political divide. You see people in other political parties appreciating the man Kwankwaso, because Kwankwaso really gave Kano a facelift. All the huge bridges, flyovers, and all that, Jinjalting road projects, farms and all that were, you know, executed during the time of Kwankwaso. And the Kano residents, the Kano citizens believe so much in Kwankwaso. So voting Kwankwaso in Kano wouldn't just
it's
be...
It's not going to be a function of the political
at
party.
all. It's not going to be limited to political party, because the name Kwankwaso is loved in Kano, and Kwankwasia movement in Kano is truly a movement. All
right, so you see, but then does it also spread across the other northern states, that level of influence, or is it just in Kano State?
Yes, I know. You know, Nigerian politics is very deep, deeper than how we look at it in the surface. Kwankwaso is a good man. He has good reputation in the north. But the question is, what would the northern oligarchy want in 2027? Would the northern oligarchy prefer Obi Kwankwaso ticket, or would they want to retain Tinubu Shetima ticket? This is a pertinent question that the north itself should answer. This is a region that controls 19 states in the north. In the House of Reps alone, they have 400. In Nigeria alone, as a nation, we have 774 local government, and the north itself controls 439 LGAs in Nigeria. So you see, the northern part of the country have a major voice in determining who becomes the president of Nigeria at any time. So, and I see it also as a very big, unfair move made by the British against the South. How would you, a particular region is having over 439, and the whole remaining part of the country
sharing the
remaining is crazy. So the northern Nigeria really have a role to play here, and I know that Kwankwaso is somebody who is respected in the north, but the question still remains:
What does a
what
northern
does the oligarchy want?
Interesting question.
Will they support Tinubu Shetima ticket 2027 or will they toe towards Obi Kwankwaso ticket?
All right,
Interesting
times ahead, and probably time will tell. If this merger talks actually materializes and is consolidated, then probably the reactions coming from different political quarters will now give us a foretaste of what might happen.
This is also a time that Nigerians should lend a voice to the ongoing constitutional review. They should lend a voice. Nigerians should be able to shout about the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act, in my opinion, in my view as a lawyer, is just a sham. It's just a document, you know, to portray that we want to do something right. But deep down the document, there are lacunas, intended lacunas, to serve those in power.
All right. Withhold funds to states failing to conduct credible polls, Serap tells federal government. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into this story. Do not go away.
Of people, the oppressors and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I...
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people, Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I thought that difficult to lead of this minister and the government.
Give us access to our money we put in charge.
I've always said there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how we challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians believe now is not about the company. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
representing people. Mr. President, my people are on the sea.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act, I thought
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has called on President Bola Tinubu to withhold allocations to states that have failed to conduct credible local government elections. Recall that on October 5, elections were held at the grassroots levels in some states, including Rivers, Benue, Akwa Ibom, and Jigawa. Most states, however, are yet to conduct local government polls and still receive allocations for their respective local councils. SERAP, displeased by the development, described the action of some state governors as wrong. In a statement by Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare on Sunday, SERAP asked Tinubu to direct the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Olawale Edun, to immediately withhold federal allocations to states that have failed and refused to conduct credible local government elections. The organization also asked the president to ensure that any allocations from the federal account is paid only to democratically elected local government councils and no other body or institution. SERAP urged the president to publish details of the number of local government councils that have directly received federal allocations and whether the councils are democratically elected as provided for by the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended and ordered by the Supreme Court in its judgment of 11 July 2024. Ndamzi, what do you have to say by this statement by SERAP?
Well, I want to encourage SERAP to channel their diplomatic request to the National Assembly. National Assembly should internalize what SERAP is saying, because one, the president is not constitutionally empowered to withhold the funds of the LGAs, even though the Supreme Court have ordered that LGAs that are not democratically elected shouldn't receive funds. Okay? Yes, the idea of SERAP is a good one, but the most important thing is strengthening that position using the instrumentality of the law. So this calls for concern. there is no way SERAP will expect credible polls from the LGAs. It is not possible. Nobody should even contemplate that in Nigeria, that any state governor will organize a credible pool for the LGAs. It's not going to happen in this country. Not going to happen. Unless they review that section, strip the governors of that power, either set up a local government election commission or return the powers back to Independent National Electoral Commission. That is the only way we can see something near credibility in the LG elections. We may not totally have a credible election, because even in the national elections we can't find credibility in the election. But with INEC conducting it, it will be powerful in the LGAs. The local government chairman will be powerful. They will understand their roles and functions of a chairman. But in this regard, powers flowing from the governor to them, they see themselves as stooges of the governor. So there is no way that can happen. And I wouldn't advise the president to withhold any funds, because if you withhold funds meant for the local people suffer. The local people are the civil servants at the local level. So withholding their funds, it means you are advising the presidency to starve millions of homes in Nigeria. So I will be of the view that governors who have not conducted LG elections in their state should please do that hastily, so we can pass this phase.
And if they don't do it, the federal government should still go ahead and make allocations available to them?
No, if I were to be the president and this situation arises, I will only release funds meant for salaries.
Okay.
Yes, I can even ask the Minister of Finance.
The local government chairman, might decide not to pay these salaries.
Lorisha,
I mean, state governments are owing salaries and nothing has happened.
Lorisha,
yes.
If a state refuses to conduct local government election, and I'm the president, I can pay the civil servants in those LGAs. Okay. Without the money passing through the governor or the local government chairman.
All right.
See, the right thing needs to be done in this country. It's not as if we don't know how these things should be done. We know, but those whom we trust these responsibilities to have failed us in all ramification. That is the truth. Who says that they cannot boycott the governors and pay the civil servants directly? That will even serve as deterrent to those who doesn't want to. But with the Supreme Court judgment and what has happened, I think a whistle was blown and all of them are running the marathon on conducting local government.
All right. Now, SERAP raised two concerns. He said to withhold allocation from states that failed to conduct credible elections, and he also said states that refuse to conduct credible elections. Failed and refused is not the same. Yes. Failed means elections were conducted, but they are not credible. Then, on the other hand, refused is that the elections did not, it was not even, yeah. So now, when you look at it critically, there are two sections to this. Do you see states that have questionable local government elections, or elections that are right now on post-election tribunal? Do you see the federal government paying allocations to them?
Yes, just like the instruction of the Supreme Court, the judgment, the ruling of the Supreme Court was very clear, and the state governors have complied in conducting this election.
So whether it was a sham or not, it's inconsequential.
All the elections in this, all the local government elections in this country, beginning from 1999 to date, we have never had any that is near credible. All of them are all a sham. All had always been a selective process. Just like what happened in Rivers State was a selective process. Election was never conducted by RISEC, and it is so shameful. what happened last Saturday.
Oh, well, but some people are also rejoicing at the election, and they said it's credible.
I have come to realize in this country that we have youths that only serve those favoring them. If it is favoring them, they are clapping. If they are directly affected, they are clapping. But if it doesn't favor them, they say otherwise. But it's high time youths in this country are discouraged to take sides with politicians. We should look at what can improve good governance in the country. Because if we have good governance, it means we will have developments coming to the grassroots. But if the good governance is not there, the politicians will be doing their thing, divide and rule, and pocket the remaining. So it should be discouraged. And believe me, it has become a trend in the system.
All right. Now, you spoke about Rivers State. You used Rivers State as an example of a state that, according to you, did not conduct a credible elections. Now, of course, the state, the post-election matters, like you have said, will still end at the state level. And the state, you said the state high courts, you have said that they are under the influence of the state government. Now, Rivers State has a pre-election matter. Can that pre-election matter have impacts on this local government chairman moving forward? Do you see this pre-election matter being escalated to, probably because the court had told RISIEC to comply with the Electoral Act, and the court faulted RISIEC's compliance with the procedures laid down and stipulated in electoral law, right? And now RISIEC did not comply. To the best of our knowledge, RISIEC did not comply to the court order. Do you see the pre-election matter being escalated to probably contempt of court against the RISIEC and the state government? If that happens, is it going to have any direct impact on this inaugurated chairman, considering again that APC in this instance, they are not stakeholders in this election? I mean, the Tony Okocha-led APC that started this litigation, they are not stakeholders in this election, and as such cannot raise any post-election matter. But can they build on the pre-election matter, escalate it, and how is it going to affect this newly elected chairman?
Yes, thank you. Before the election was conducted, there were issues, there were disputes which the Tony Okocha faction then raised. These issues were raised, and RISIEC went ahead to do what they did. Then secondly, I want to react on Tony Okocha's position before the judgment that brought in Emeka Beke. As at the time the matter went to court, Tony Okocha was the caretaker chairman. He was in charge of APC in Rivers State, duly recognized by the law. So his team instituted that action in court. And nobody can terminate the lifeline of that action, even though today the court has said Emeka Beke is in charge of the party. Okay, that action remains alive. You cannot throw away that matter because Emeka Beke now heads the party and is in support of the state government. That action in court is alive. That action can get to the Supreme Court. And since it is a pre-election matter, it will have effect on the elected chairman. It has happened here in Rivers State before.
Okay.
During Amechi, like I said before, chairmen actually, were sworn in and they didn't last in office.
All right. So moving forward, you mentioned earlier that SERAP should focus on pushing this statement or their concerns to the National Assembly to ensure that it is legitimized by being enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria. So far, SERAP to a large extent has been more of making calls, playing the role of a watchdog, calling out things and all that. But do you actually see SERAP pushing this to that level? That's on one hand. On the other hand, why are Nigerians not loud enough in this constitutional amendment that is so dearly needed at this point?
Thank you. I will begin with SERAP. I give kudos to SERAP with all they do for our country, Nigeria. SERAP has really, exposed Nigerians to the ills of government, and we hail them, we give them the kudos. We'll also encourage SERAP to keep conscientizing the people, to keep shouting on the government, criticizing the government to do the right thing. And also, the government on its part. The National Assembly, the senators in particular, they have abdicated the role and they have refused to listen, even most times when SERAP comes up with positions. They have blatantly refused to listen. And the reason, if you watch, majority of Nigerians are not even aware that the National Assembly is, making moves to review our constitution.
Probably because the National Assembly is not loud enough about it.
See, Laurentia, the National Assembly have ill intent. Most of the National Assembly members want to be governor.
So if they push this the way
some want to retain their position. So if they come up with good electoral laws, it will affect so many of them. So many are not even popular in their
returning
constituencies.
officers as well. As
Yes.
they are returning. They intend to
so
return.
many intend to return as second.
And some of them have anointed. They want to.
Some of them want to be governor. So you see, if they allow the process to run well, it will affect them because they know they have failed the people. They are not popular in their various constituencies and their states. So if the election is allowed to be credible, they can win even in their wards.
Right.
I can challenge you that over 70% of the National Assembly members there, if you allow credible election in Nigeria, they will not win their wards.
All right. Thank you so much, Ndanzi, for coming on Open Conversation. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Laurentia. The pleasure is mine.
And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ugu Laurentia. Transition News comes up next. Do not go away.
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the coward and the hypocrites. Which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.